Okay, guys. Welcome to another episode of the 100 to 1 podcast. DJ Wrex can't make it today, but we got? We got myself, Rose. We got the man himself back.
Come on, Big Nams back in the building. Arsenal all the way through.
Back in the building. Yeah, Nam's couldn't make it last time round. We're back again. And yeah, we're just coming off the back of an international break. All looking forward to getting back to the league, getting back to the business that we really, that we're really interested in.
Amen.
How to just, before we start, as always, before we get into it, how did the slips been going the last few weeks, last couple of weeks?
From what I can remember last weekend, I think I had I had something around shots in each half, one play in each team. I can't remember it specifically, but it wasn't too far off. But to be honest, we've put it in the back of our minds now. We're focusing this present weekend ahead, like, man. You get me? We the internationals, you're always kind of scratching, trying to find something maybe, but Premiership, that's our bread and butter, man. So back to business.
What's crazy for me is like, because I learned after the international break in September, I found, I'm sure I didn't make loads of money, maybe like 500-600, but across like 3 bets that I was ended up cashing out at like 200 something too. So, but that was enough to make me think, hang on,
it's like in this.
I started to understand this international. So I was actually waiting for this international, bro. I was looking forward to it. This is my opportunity to get some money, bro. And like, it was not far away. I had some like slips that basically, 8 out of 10 slips basically, like for big money, like 10K, all of that stuff. Like, and I think the game that really swung a lot of my slips was Georgia, Albania, and I went for a Georgia home win, and Albania won in Georgia. And basically, if that had won that game and the time it was at 5 p.m., I would have definitely got paid like a few grand, because this was across 4 different slips. So basically, all of it would have gone into the 745s, and the only one that didn't win out of the 745s was I had Germany, Holland, both teams to score over 2.5, and that was a 1-0 to Germany. But Germany scored that one in like the 60th minute or so, and by the time that went to 1-0 and the others were in, off 10K, like I should be getting some decent money, basically. Like, so, and this is across 3 bets, so I'm gonna have to stitch them all together, brother, and walk away with a check. But that would have been something. But I'm actually looking forward to the next November international break on that basis, basically, because I think that I mentioned in the last episode, there's a lot of games that, like, for me, there's a handicap guy. We thrive on predictability. Like, we've tried to thrive on predictability, and then we push it, because a game that, when you're not sure, you're looking who's going to win, you want comfortable wins. And and it's not that easy in top level. It's absolutely in league football, it's almost impossible. Like now in the Premier League, certainly, to predict like, this team's going to win especially by more than 1 goal. The team that you think is going to win might not even win, might lose. Like, it's just, you don't even know who's going to win. Like, anyone can beat anybody almost. Like, so. It's difficult. You don't get games like, for example, one of the ones on my slip, you don't get like New Zealand versus Malaysia's, where like, okay, I think in New Zealand I've got a few players playing in the top flight, Chris Woods, and like, and Malaysia is just their players where they're going to be playing. Like, there's going to be a mismatch between them. So I can comfortably, like, confidently go for like a -2 on that, but you won't get that in a league. Even top versus bottom probably, is not as mad as that. So you get a lot of games like that where generally you get tight ones, but you get games that you feel like this team is just impossible. These are almost like professionals against flipping plumbers and electricians in some of these countries. Like, so you can get a lot of those ones. So I think that, there's a lot of handicap opportunity there, basically. There's a lot of mismatch, because you just think, even if the teams are not that great, you might get a team like, that's got a cluster of stars that all play in like top Premier League, La Liga, and then even in South America, then you get like Bolivia, for example. The thing is, South American football is very difficult to predict anyway, but just generally, if you bring a bunch of players that all play at the top level against players that don't play in top leagues at all, then it's like, it's almost impossible that team should be able to beat them generally. So yeah, I like that's the predictability that I like from international football.
No, I hear that.
It wasn't too bad for me. But yeah, speaking of international football, obviously some incidents of significance over the last international break. Namely with the Three Lions, had a change in manager. Firstly, before we even go into that, obviously, they had a couple of games, lost on to Greece. I must say, I put my hat on and say I saw that coming. I didn't see it coming exactly, but I saw enough to stay away from it. And I had several slips, and I said, I'm not going for an England result in that game. I'm not going for an England result.
It wasn't a surprise. Like, look at the lineup he picked up. Basically, what Lee Carsley did was he just picked a lineup that we all just wanted to see. Like, let's see if it all works. Basically, like Palmer, Bellingham, Foden. He just picked everyone basically. Like, and now we found.
I mean, I'm not mad at him for maybe thinking, try something new, try and experiment with like a false nine system. And this is something we discussed in episode past about life after Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's not available. What do we do when Harry Kane's not available? Could have gone an easy option and just played Ollie Watkins, but let's just try something else. Basically, I mean, Ollie Watkins not the youngest striker either. He's got plenty of life left in him, but Kane and the strikers that they have are both in and around the 30 mark. So it's like still like what's the vision basically? But yeah, I mean, look,
a big hindrance, bro, to the way they're playing, bro. Man, if you're telling me Kane's gonna be England, he's gonna be leaning England's line in the 2026 World Cup. They're not winning it. They're not winning it. I promise you now, they're not winning it. No. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Bunch of penalties, bro. That's the best that he's gonna hope for.
Not a chance. So for me, yeah, I know we'll discuss it shortly, but that's one of the big decisions Tommy's got to make, like, because Kane's not going to take you to that World Cup. I promise you that.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, that was that leads us into the next main point is obviously they've made a permanent appointment, managerial appointment. Thomas Tuchel has been keen to come back to England in some capacity for quite a while. Probably feels he's got unfinished business in this country, and given the circumstance under which he left. And yeah, the England manager, he's got pedigree. A lot of people are unhappy that we haven't gone for a local lad, for an Englishman, and I think that maybe it's not an unreasonable point. I think some countries, like for example, Nigeria, where we're from, have generally always had like a European coach. Not so much recently, they've been mixing it up, bringing some like former players now, but like generally always had a European coach. That's different level of, but when you're a nation like England, just think, okay, surely, Italy, they've had Italian managers typically, like, the best Italian manager, Spain managed by a Spaniard typically, France have had their champs for forever, but England is like, people think, why should we have to, like, are we not a big enough footballing nation to be able to produce an English manager? First of all, so what's your thoughts on that point?
Yeah.
Best man for the job.
I think national team wise, you have the affinity to go with an Englishman, right? I get where everyone's coming from, but look at the current pool. Look at the talent pool we've got right now. Like, there's this notion that
Graham Potter's an easy appointment to make.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, everyone says that, but once again, we don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. Did Graham Potter even want to manage?
He's not managed for 2 years.
He hasn't managed for 2 years, but does he want to be an international coach? Like, he might want to get back into club management. Do you know what I'm saying? And this notion as well that I've seen on Sky Sports with these guys, that Carragher, Neville running this whole Eddie Howe. How do we know Eddie Howe wants a job? He's at Newcastle having a great time. Like, remember, people.
I feel they say that generally. It was the case when I was growing up. Is if England calls, it's an impossible job to turn down. That's what all the managers generally say. If we're managing, it's like, well, you can't turn down the England job.
Time to change, B. Arab money got into the business. But time to change, B. Arab money's the business time, man. Time to change, bruv. It's not the 90s no more, bruv. Time to change, bruv. So for me, this whole notion that Eddie Howe should be the manager or great, bruv, we don't know if these guys want it, like. And then if you look after that, just look at the English coaches. Look at the ex-players who are English coaches, bruv. The Lampards, the Rooneys, bruv. Is this the caliber that you want? Like, and also as well, I would like to make a point that for international managing an international team is very, very different, bruv. You don't specifically need a high caliber coach. You need someone who's just gonna really, at least try to bring in some kind of style of play, has some kind of charisma. It's not really about like the name of it, because look at what's his name, the Spanish coach De La Fuente. He managed them from the junior, like from the under 18s, under 20s, etc. Ask anyone in the business who De La Fuente is, they ain't got a clue, bruv. He just won the Euros. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not always about the name, but because of the English coaches that we have right now, I don't think any of them have an idea what they're doing. And
so with that being said, then why not Lee Carsley? Just like that's an even easier appointment to make, unless there was some mix saying he didn't.
It's clear Lee don't want it, bruv. It's clear Lee didn't want it, bruv. From what I can see, like he doesn't. I don't think
he's managed the youth teams and successfully as well.
He has. But the groans that we're hearing is that he doesn't actually want it. Those are the groans that we're hearing. That he didn't actually want it, basically. So yeah, you could say Lee Carsley or whatnot, but
he's won youth team. He's managed the youth teams. For example, he brought Gomez through, who he's managed at youth level, won trophies with him, won trophies with the likes of Cole Palmer. So it was a similar succession plan to Southgate. And to be honest, right, I actually thought, I thought Carsley would have been a sensible choice. I actually think continuity, because Southgate, on the whole, he was flawed, but he wasn't a terrible manager. Clearly, he's similar path, stepped up from the youth team. And having that kind of from a continuity perspective of like, with the players are bringing them up in this kind of Club England culture, Carsley would have made sense. Most of them have played for him. He didn't do a terrible job in his audition. Obviously the Greek game didn't help, but he won 3 out of 4.
Yeah,
won 3 out of 4 so far anyway. And I thought he could have been somebody to go for, but they've gone for Tuchel. So. Moving on to Tuchel. What do you think of that appointment? How do you think he'll do?
Tuchel is if Tuchel had managed us in the positions that if Tuchel had found himself in the positions that Gareth Southgate found himself in the last 2 tournaments, England get one of them over the line, 100%. For me, 100%. Because one thing about Tuchel for me, he's a very interesting character. Like, first of all, I thought his press conference was amazing. Speaks well. Owns the room, charisma, confidence. That he has that presence, but you're gonna respect him first of all, bruv. And one thing about Tommy Tuchel is his league management career has always been blighted by conflict, and he's quite a big personality. He falls out of leadership, etc. But one thing about Tommy, bruv, he always does well in the cups. He's for me, he's a quality cup manager, and he can really navigate his way around the tournament. So if you tell me you give Tommy Tuchel, bruv, that semi-final against Croatia, or you give him that final against Italy, I promise you, England get one of those trophies. Like I'm almost certain
they don't beat Spain for me.
You don't think so?
They don't beat Spain with or without Tuchel, but maybe the Italy game.
The Italy one definitely for me. Like I just feel like in those games, like especially the Italy one, bruv, like it was just crying out to do certain things, and Gareth just couldn't do it. Like even in the last World Cup when we went out against was it France in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, France. Yeah.
Yeah. When that game, it's like football's weird because sometimes
they were on top in that game. They were on top in that game.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes in football, bruv, you can tell when the temperature of a game has changed, but you can just feel it, bruv. And I still remember I was watching in my yard, but that was one of the best World Cups, man. Honestly, I loved it. I was watching it, and I remember it was maybe around the 69th, 70th minute, bruv. And I was like, hold up. France on the ropes here, England have got them, bruv. Just bring on Rashford, make a few, substitutions, but we can go for them, bruv. But he didn't do it. But
there's certain things that are beyond the manager's control. Harry Kane misses a penalty.
Yeah. But I'm talking about someone who's more proactive, though. Southgate is never proactive. Southgate has never ever been proactive with his tactics, bruv. Always reactive, or he just takes too long. And I feel like Tommy's the kind of coach that he'll first of all have the respect to the players, but I think he will have the balls to do ballsy things if the game needs it. Southgate, he would never do it, bruv. Southgate would never do it, bruv. Like, I think if a game's going a certain way and Tommy needs to take off Kane or one of the big boys or Bellingham or whatnot, he's taking them off. And there's no buts about it.
In Southgate's defense, in the last Euros, whatever it was, for example, in the semi-finals, does he not take off Kane, brings on Watkins, he scores.
He did.
And I feel like that idea, he took off Kane. I think he took off Kane in the final even. I can't remember. But I'm sure Kane has not been playing the full 90 necessarily by default in the more recent times. But yeah, that kind of moves me to my next question on the topic is, what are the 3 most pressing things in Tuchel's entry?
I think I was gonna say style of play, but international football's it can rarely be about style of play really because you've got limited time. So it's hard
I
to get
don't know
those.
though, because I
I
feel
don't know.
like
It's hard to get those.
the fans. This is what creates pressure though. Like when England don't play well, because results.
Yeah.
They're going to expect with the players that they have that you're going to be able to produce performances. Like because of the players that they have at the moment, I feel like you're not going to get away with playing drab football because they're going to think, look, we've got Palmer, we've got Burnley, we've got Grealish, we've got Foden. How can we looked dead against the Greeks or against a team that they should, the Iceland or Slovakia was struggling. Like I don't think if you want to be a manager, because Southgate's always kind of had that hanging over him as well.
Yeah.
That is like, it's like he's kind of boring and that kind of, they think that this England team should be going toe to toe, front footed against
the best in the
whoever,
world,
because this is the players they've got. So I feel like that style of play, sorry to even just cut you, but I feel like style of play is valid. Maybe not his biggest priority, but I don't think it's something that he's going to get away with either. And because you've got a big foreign manager, there's an expectation that what's the point in bringing one of these guys if this is how they're playing? I think there's that pressure as well.
You know what? I'd say my 3 pressing matters that Tommy Tuchel has to probably address is, I think, and in no particular order, number 1 is the Harry Kane conundrum. That has to be addressed because that is going to be a conundrum. Number 2 is this notion of trying to get all our best players on the field at the same time. So that's I call it the Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham conundrum. Because that is another massive problem as well. And then
Southgate managed that terribly for me at the
terribly, bro. Absolutely terribly.
Not even terribly. I don't think that's the right word. I think he managed it cowardly.
Yeah, he didn't manage it at all. He didn't manage it. He chose not to manage it.
The tournament by just saying, okay, Foden is our left winger, that's cowardly. He basically it's a slap in the face to the likes of Anthony Gordon, even Marcus Rashford, who was at home. Because it's like, okay, you're playing players that don't really play in this position. We've got no width. So what is your philosophy? Because I'm sure you don't want to have no width. You're just trying to play Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham. So I would say in
the final against Spain, Bellingham was playing left wing. Bellingham was playing left wing in the final against Spain, bruv. Like, that don't make no sense, bruv. That don't make no sense in the slightest. So for me, those 2 are massive conundrums. And then the third conundrum for me has got to be what formation do you go with? Like, because obviously we know Tommy likes a back 3. So is he going to try with the wing back start? If that's his case, then obviously Arnold's got a great chance of really shining this team. Like, but you know what I'm saying? So for me, those are the 3 kind of.
I don't see Trent as a wing back though. I just think I think that because Trent is offensively good, but I don't see Trent is not a patrol the flank player. He's not an up and down the right player. I don't see him as an obvious wing back choice. He's not a vertical player to me, like a player that is up and down the wing. Like, I don't know, to give an example, who's a wing back now? I mean, even Reece James is more suited. I'd say, DeMarco for Italy and Inter Milan is
he just goes.
He's a wing back. He's a traditional wing back. I think Trent is a good footballer, but I think he's more of like a fullback. For example, you had Gareth Bale, who was a left back, and it was starting to become clear that he could be a left winger due to his skill set, or right winger as football kind of changed. Trent is a right back that the more you watch him play, the conversation has been he could be a central midfielder. I don't see him as a winger. Then nobody's ever said that he's so good going forward that we should play him right wing. I don't think he's that player, so I don't see him as a winger.
It's true, because he needs to get into the pockets, isn't it? You want him to kind of get into those pockets. But it's obviously just find the formation to get him in as well, basically, because obviously you think if you want Trent in the team where it's going to maximize his potential going forward and minimize the defensive task, you think, okay, right wing back then. That's what you kind of normally think. Because he's not midfielder either.
Unless you're going to play him, depends on the balance. Like, unless you're going to try and put him like right centre back and some like playing into those spaces. Like, I would think it'd be more suited in terms of maximizing what you want to get out of him, because that's almost like a free role in the defensive half as opposed to a free role in the defensive half. So I think, like, obviously you're going to have 2 proper solid defenders. So he'll be a nominal centre half, of course, that kind of comes into the midfield, pushes forward, comes out to the right a little bit and covers, but that's about it. Or alternatively, there's just the notion that maybe he just doesn't get in the team.
Yeah, it's true. We've got to see what we want.
Which was the case for quite a few years, generally. I mean, it's only been since the Euros that Gareth decided to change that, and I don't think it was a success necessarily. So perhaps Trent doesn't get into the team, despite how uncomfortable that makes Gary Neville. You know,
true.
Phil. But,
them guys, I can't lie. I used to rate Neville and Carragher, but now I've realized them man there, bruv. They're just, bruv. They've got so many different agendas, bruv, and it's all very. They're not even doing it covert anymore. It's obvious what they're on these days. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
I agree. Yeah. I think from what you said, the points that you made, I think I agree with you, and I do think in order, I would say the Harry Kane conundrum is probably his biggest one, because the next major tournament is 2 years away as well. So it's like, and the thing is, it's a decision to make now. You don't want to start making it in February of 26 that he's not the guy that you want to go into the tournament with. So if you think now, you have a look, you think, I don't think this is our guy to lead us in the World Cup, then start thinking who is, and maybe bringing them through. We discussed this, in the past, and there's a shortage of proper number 9s, I think. Certainly English ones, especially. Yep. I mean, I don't even know who the candidates are. I mean, you got Dominic Solanke. Can he take the next step? Obviously, he's probably, as far as a classic 9, maybe in pole position. Probably due to off the field decisions, I would say he's probably moved just past Ivan Toney now. He's moved past Toney. You've obviously got Ollie Watkins. No disrespect, I forgot him when I said he's in pole position. He will probably be the pole position. But again, do you decide, right, Watkins is, let's start building for Watkins 2 years from now? Is the future, like, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced.
You know what, yeah? I think we all know that Kane, we all know that right now, for this England team to get to the next level and thrive, we need to start moving past Kane. But Tuchel can't come into the job. He's probably already seen, but the thing is, obviously, the thing about Tuchel, at least, he's a strong personality, he's a strong man, he can handle the flack from the British press. But you've seen the headlines, the way the press have reacted to him has been nothing short of disgraceful, bruv. So now,
if he comes up to the golden boy,
bruv, I saw one paper say dark day, but I saw one reporter, I saw one journalist here, the day before, he was writing an article about if Pep was to get the England job, how it would be amazing for British culture, the players, blah, blah, blah. Then the next day, Tuchel got it, bruv. It's a dark day for English football, like, man. But make up your mind, bruv. They've got agendas, bruv. You can't, bruv, it's nonsense, bruv. That's why content creators like us are doing well, like, because the British press are nonsense, bruv. But for me, I think the issue here is, like, if he takes Harry Kane out of the firing line, which we all know needs to happen, that's already going to put a target in his back, bruv, and they're going to turn on him straight away, bruv. I can already see the headlines, bruv. Tuchel axes Kane, had disgrace, bruv. So it's a techie one. I know
disrespectful. These companies, this is absolutely disrespectful. Harry Kane is everything for England.
You can see the headlines already, bruv. You can see it already.
Disrespect to the England legend.
There you go.
And maybe he doesn't understand. And as a foreign manager, perhaps he doesn't understand what Harry Kane means to this game.
Bruv, you've already started writing the article, bruv. These men are itching. They're waiting to write, bruv. They're itching. They're waiting to write it, bruv. Because exactly what you said, that's the exact narrative. And this is why he shouldn't be the England manager. He doesn't understand the culture, bruv.
I honestly feel, and I don't know how it's going to work, but I do feel like there's potential in the false 9 for England.
With who playing that role, though?
At the moment, I would be leaning towards Cole Palmer in that role. I would be looking to develop him in that role. He's got the frame. He's like 6 foot. He's a goal scorer. He can link. He's got playmaking abilities and good finishing. Good instinct to score goals as well. He would be my number 1 choice for that. I mean, I know Bellingham sort of does it for Madrid. I think Palmer's tidier on the ball. Maybe Bellingham is physically stronger, so perhaps he can hold it up more. But
Bellingham more arrives in that position. He rarely is ever there. He arrives. You know what I'm saying, so it's a bit, when you're in a false 9, you need to have intelligence in terms of knowing when to start that position, knowing when to come deeper. Link it. Bellingham arrives, so I'm not sure for him.
I see Palmer, and it's still early days. I'm not sure, but this is largely due to being fairly unconvinced by any like real number 9 option. So
I agree.
I feel like it's certainly in the long term. If there's a tournament next week, next month, then maybe, you know, I'll say, okay, go with Watkins maybe or whatever, or even Harry Kane. But I think if I'm looking 2-3 years ahead, I'm looking what's around right now. I mean, obviously Mason Green was not out of the equation, rather. Otherwise, for me, he was obviously the obvious kind of heir to the throne with Kane, and even he has moved towards a wider position now than a more central one. If he'll find his way back to the middle, maybe, who knows? But in the absence of him, I can't really see an obvious solution without somebody that is like clearly not as good as the players around them. Like if you go down a level.
And that's why for me as well, that's why one of my points was the formation change. Because then if you are going to change the formation, then Harry Kane can survive in this team if he's playing in the pair. But then that means he's going to have to make a very, very bold decision in terms of who he's leaving out of the three that I mentioned. So, but for me, I think that would be maybe the most sensible option to go by in terms of a tweak of a formation, play to player strengths, and obviously take out one of those players. And for me, it'd have to be Foden personally, because he hasn't done anything in an England shirt ever. And that's when they compare all this nonsense, I get absolutely annoyed. Cole Palmer's done more in an England shirt than Phil Foden has ever.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Nonsense,
Foden, for me, he's barely. I almost go as far as saying he's never had a great game for England.
Like, he's been awful. He's been awful. But once again, the agenda of these Nevilles and these, every time Neville starts speaking his nonsense about, I feel uncomfortable about a team that can't get Phil Foden. I'm like, shut up, man. Exactly. You feel comfortable. Like, look, judge with your eyes. Judge with your eyes, bro, man. Judge with your eyes.
Phil Foden has put that white shirt on often enough. Bro, it's not performing. It's not the same team. It's not playing in a blue shirt anymore. So you need to judge him of how he plays in the white one.
Exactly, bro. That's why when it gets me so annoyed, bro, when obviously all of the Saka and all that kind of, a lot of it is just engagement farming and just, you know, having debates for the sake of it. Like when he's put up Saka's
the thing is with Saka, it's just incomparable. Whether you think Foden's better than him or not, he certainly hasn't been better than him for England.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's why beyond debate. So it should never be a case of who should play.
Bro, it should be beyond debate, but it's not, because they still bring it up, bruv. Like when they were looking for someone to take out the team to fit in Palmer and Foden, it's always Saka's name, bruv. But anyway, there's reason. Anyway, we ain't gonna get into that. But we know why, bruv. We know why, like, but we ain't gonna get into that. We know why.
I think the whole balance, they need to find it. You know, centre half is another kind of question mark. I feel like they seem to have maybe settled on Gahey and Stones.
He's very good. He's very good.
And obviously, Carsley brought Colwell in, who we know we're not the biggest fan of, but I think he did all right from the little I saw.
To be fair, he's been doing all right this season. To be fair, he's been
all right at centre back.
Doing good.
Who else have they got coming through at centre half?
Braithwaite.
I mean, who?
Braithwaite.
Yeah, Braithwaite as well. And then obviously, I know it's not in that position, but I mean, maybe we're never going to know until somebody's biography comes out what's happening with Ben White.
Oh yeah. Ben's just not on it, bruv. He's just not on it. He's just not really on it. But we'll see in it. If Tommy,
the circumstances did not being on it. I mean, he went to the World Cup and left, so it's like something's obviously happened.
Something's gonna ride, bro. Something's happening in the background, like, but it's what it is. If Tommy reaches out to him and Ben says no, then obviously we know what time it is, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously right now our speculation is that it was Southgate and his coaches, like. But if Tommy reaches out to him and Ben says no, then we know it's something deeper, like he's just not on it, like, and people just leave him alone. Like, not everyone's got to play for their country, innit? So let the guy play his club football, innit?
There's the problem with football we discussed as well, like in terms of like the personnel. I know going back to the previous point, but it's like these people are not producing these number 9s anymore, you know.
No.
And now that is like, I'm looking at a lot of England's good players, top players coming through, and they're all similar profile. You know, these 10, even up to the likes of, you know, Eze and them, like, you know, people like Eze, it's all the, you know, Eze, Grealish, it's a difference, like, you know.
Much of a muchness, isn't it? You know what? I actually saw a funny clip on Twitter a couple of days ago with Luca Toni. He was having I think he was having lunch with Pep Guardiola in it, and obviously I could see the translation in it. He was saying, "This guy here, Pep, was the reason I couldn't find a club for 4 years when he introduced the false nine, bruv. Like, man like me, I couldn't find work." They're basically saying I couldn't find work, bro, because this guy changed the game with his fucking false nine, bruv. I couldn't get no clubs. That was, for me, that was an amazing clip, man. So funny, bruv. Luca Toni. If you know about Luca Toni, the real ones know, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's an interesting point, to be honest. You know, yeah.
He was saying it to him, bro. He was saying it to him 4 years to find a club.
Yeah, straight putting guys out of business. Not only them, it's centre forwards and goalkeepers.
Yep, 100%.
Goalkeepers are getting run out of blocks. I always think of random players and I ask myself, like, where would they play if they were playing today? Like, good players. Like, will Sol Campbell be at a top club?
Yeah. Totally different times, bruv, man.
And it's crazy to think now Sol Campbell would be like a Palace at best, and even Palace is trying to go there. But I feel like for Sol Campbell not to be at Arsenal, City, United, Chelsea, it's like, what? Like, that guy was an immovable like force, but it's like the way the game is now, the metrics that they use to judge these people, like, would Sol Campbell be at the very, very top of the game if he played today? Which
even
is crazy.
Look at someone like David Beckham. Beckham was a winger, a right winger in it. Now we have
he'll move inside one though. I think he'll move inside. I think
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I don't think he can't do what Salah does, but he'd have to be a midfielder.
Yeah, but he can do what Kevin does.
Yeah.
He can do what Kevin does. And
I
think he'll be doing like what De Bruyne,
100%.
Basically. I think that would be him. But others, you look at some of these players, I'm talking about great players. Like I said, Sol Campbell's one that always comes to my mind. We mentioned even Drogba. It's like, but to be honest, I've never Drogba's biggest fan anyway, to be honest. But like, Drogba, maybe does he link enough? Does he Haaland, is at the top, but he scores a freakish amount of goals. Some of these players, I don't know. Drogba, I say Spurs level, maybe, if he was leaving Marseille. But not the one.
The game evolves and the game changes, isn't it? Like, we can always do the debates about, if they could play in different eras or whatever, but the game's come a long way since back in the day, like, man. But yeah, man.
But yeah, so Tuchel's got his work cut out. But one thing for sure is that the English people will expect. They're expecting for sure. I think that they're a big. It's a big appointment. They've got the players, so yeah, the expectation will be there to deliver. So we'll see. How he gets on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So yeah, I'll say we're moving on to like back to business, back to the bread and butter this weekend. Obviously Premier League's back. We're excited for that. So yeah, how do you see this weekend's fixtures? You're looking forward to it? I think as an Arsenal man, my bad, I pressed that by accident. But yeah, so just that kind of divides the segments for us. So yeah, moving back into the Premier League. As an Arsenal man, I feel like Marco Marino fit now.
Yeah, he's fit. He's fit. It's going to be obviously we've got Bournemouth this afternoon. It's going to be a very interesting game. I think I saw a bit of Moreno when I was playing for Spain, and I definitely like what I saw. Does Mikel Arteta throw him straight into Bournemouth? We'll see. But
what are the options? I mean, you can go for the Partey, Jorginho. I mean, he will feature, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, he would. Either against Bournemouth or against Shakhtar. But I'm thinking a game ahead right now in terms of what's going to be. You don't want him. You can't be starting him cold against Liverpool because that's going to be a crazy game. Like, so for me, the next 2 games
today, even if he doesn't start, he will come off the bench, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, I definitely want to see him because I think what Arteta's going for in that midfield is going to be Rice and Moreno splitting the duties a little bit more because we build up differently these days. Before, we used to kind of build up solely with Thomas Partey at the fulcrum of the six, but now I think what the plan is, if we have Rice and Moreno together, they kind of share those duties, or we kind of build up a little bit differently. So I like what I see, man. Good, good presence. Wins his duels. He passes the ball crisp, fast. And left footed as well, it just means we're going to have more access quicker to the left-hand channel with Calafiori and Martinelli as well, which is going to be at least even out our attacking balance a little bit more as well. So I'm hoping he starts today, man. I really want to see him play some more, and I like what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think Arsenal definitely needed that body in there, even before, but especially since Odegaard's injury. Credit to them. They've done very well managing it so far. Still kept the results coming in, even if not the performances, but they've kept the results coming in, which is all you can ask. But yeah, I think, I'm looking at the fixtures. I think Newcastle Brighton stands out for me as the headline one. I mean, I think unfortunately Alexander Isaac is still injured, which is a shame because Newcastle always more worth a watch if he's playing. But yeah, generally, I mean, look, we covered as Fabian Herzl's start to Brighton, life at Brighton in a recent episode. He's continued that fantastic comeback win against Spurs a couple of weeks ago, 2-0 down at half time. So, it shows that we've got that persistence, that resilience, and it looks like they're building something. So there's, we might put the kiss of death on it, but I'm quite confident there should be goals in that game, at the very least, like goals at both ends. I think that's the pick of today's fixtures for sure. And yeah, I mentioned to you earlier before we start recording, I fancy Fulham to take something off Villa today at Craven Cottage as well. I think Fulham playing well this season quietly. They've been quite a goal threat as well, which has always kind of surprised me since that.
Rose, he's still there. He's still, your picture's frozen, bro.
Oh well.
I don't know if it's on your side, but yeah, you've literally just frozen on the recording. I don't know if are you moving on your side?
Can you hear me now?
No, I can hear you, but just your picture's just frozen. Like,
okay, I think it might be a connectivity issue.
Maybe it's on my side. Maybe it's on my side.
Might be a connectivity issue. I don't know. I mean, it happened with you earlier. Like you froze for a second as well.
Okay. Ignore it. It's my side. It's my side.
But I don't know. It could be me. But you can hear me at least. But yeah, I think Raul Jimenez is having a little bit of a renaissance. Seems to have taken back over from Rodrigo Muniz, who was like, the guy that kind of stepped up last season.
Look, he's chain, bro, man. He's taking his chain back, bro.
That's it. But I feel like Fulham quietly, they've been playing like they've been generally what I've seen from Fulham is every single game they've been in it. They've been competing. They've had a interest in it. They've never been. They're hard team to roll over. So I think Villa. These are the games that are kind of games that really underline what Villa, if they're as real as they, like, if you're trying to be one of take the next step and be one of the really biggest boys, then are you going to roll into Craven Cottage and win, and demand to win, expect to win and win? Like that's the challenge. So I think those two games are the games that stand out, and then obviously the afternoon kickoff. I'll let you talk about that one.
Yeah. So is that West Ham Tottenham?
Yeah.
Yeah, West Ham Tottenham, that should be an interesting game, man. Like West Ham, you already know my thoughts about Lopetegui and that guy, bro, man. So
they got the fans, last one, didn't they?
Yeah, the grumblings, the fans are already starting to grumble out, man. So
they get a victory last time out, though, right?
West Ham, who did they play last? Was it Ipswich?
I think it might have been Ipswich.
Yeah, I think they beat Ipswich. I think they beat him like maybe.
Yeah, I think it was like 4-0 or something as well. Like,
okay. Yeah, they needed that.
Yeah,
they needed that lap, but this will be a good test for them. Will be a good test.
But Tottenham have been a little bit unconvincing as well. So it's like, for me, like I just still think good, but just something about them not fully convinced. So this will be a test for both teams, both managers, I think.
No, definitely. So we'll have to see how this one pans out, like, man. But then obviously you got the big one on Sunday.
No love lost between both teams, of course. Spurs and Tottenham. So it's definitely a good fixture to look forward to. And yeah, like you said, tomorrow's game, big one.
Yeah, Liverpool Chelsea's gonna be interesting. Obviously Liverpool, people saying they haven't played anyone decent yet. Fair enough. Chelsea, we want to see how serious they are in terms of how they're kind of playing, because
they're upsetting to me to hear that Liverpool haven't played anybody yet, because
they have been to
Old Trafford,
That's what people are saying.
They have been to Old Trafford, but credit to Chelsea. I mean, look, I think it's more Chelsea's a bigger test for Chelsea than it is for Liverpool. And when I say test, I think it is a test. It's an examination. Okay, I think I've lost your visual as well. I don't know if you can hear me.
No, but my sneezing in it. Carry on, man. Carry on. My sneezing in it. I'm sneezing.
But yeah, it's an examination of their credentials, of their progress. What I mean. So for Chelsea, because Chelsea have made a lot of progress, clearly they're playing well. So this is going to be a point to check, like, okay, is it real? How real is it? Now we're going to Anfield unapologetically and we're here to fight, like, so if they come and they put up a good performance, win, lose or draw, then I think that will go a long way to shaping people's opinion on, Chelsea's progress and how real it is, basically.
100%. Because I think, we want to see how real these guys are, basically. In it, I don't even think they even need to win. It's just more about the performance.
Yeah. It's about the performance. Are they front foot? Are they just going to go there and they get battered and they go there and it's like two big heavyweights. If it's a heavyweight fight, then whoever wins wins. But let it at least be a heavyweight fight. Then we know that Chelsea for real. And City away at Wolves. Wolves have been struggling, but I've mentioned, I've always said Wolves are one of those teams that they're not scared of City. They're not scared of City.
I fancy Cunha to do something, bruv, man. Even if I don't think it's an easy win, it won't be an easy win for City. Like I can just see Cunha. Cunha's doing something on Sunday, innit? Cunha's doing something. I'm positive of it. That counter attack, Diaz at the halfway line, Cunha's doing something. I don't know if they're gonna win, but I think they can get a draw, though. Man. I think they can get a draw. I really see it, bro.
I don't know why. I mean, I would nothing would surprise me in that fixture, even the Wolves win. I've seen it like in recent years. I just think they don't have they don't have respect for City. They take the game to them, and they've taken points off of them, on enough occasions for me to think that City should have their work cut out. So that would be interesting. What about your bets for the weekend? And are you looking?
I'm going to be putting one together shortly, but for me, it's going to be shots, man. It's going to be shots. I've already started to go through a few rough drafts of what I'm going to do, but I'm probably going to go for. It's going to be. We're going to start off with the West Ham game. Let me see what the lineups are, but I'm sure my boy Kudus is going to be playing regardless. Like, sometimes when he's on the left, it's hard for him to get. But the thing about Kudus that I like is whether he's left or right, he can get them shots off with both feet, bruv.
Mm-hmm.
He's very comfortable with both feet. Okay, so Antonio's playing, Bowen's playing, Paqueta. Okay, so Kudus and Son is back. So Kudus is going to play on the left then. Okay, Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with Kudus to have a shot in each half, and I'm going to go with Brennan Johnson to have a shot in each half. Well, he's been on absolute fire right now, bruv. So going with those
six in a row. So
for me, I'm going for those two, and then for the 3 o'clock games, I'm going to do a separate one. But for the 3 o'clock games, the game that I probably back the most in terms. Actually, let me skip for now. Bournemouth Arsenal.
Sorry, just to cut that game. I've just looked at the lineup and I cannot believe that like, no disrespect, that Antonio is still, like, they're still rolling this guy out. Like, if this is what West Ham is built on Antonio as the number 9,
crazy, bro. Crazy.
All the talent, all the money they've spent around him, and they've still got Antonio starting every week at number 9. Listen, Antonio, if you see this, no disrespect, brother. Like,
I salute you, bro, man.
Salute you. It's just that I feel at this stage now, you've done you paid your dues. Like, should be time for the next. West Ham should be moving to the next generation. So,
very, very disappointing.
But go ahead. The 3 o'clocks.
So I'm going to leave the 3 o'clocks, I think, for now, but I'm going to go with the next game is Arsenal against Bournemouth. Now, Semenyo technically is probably top 2 in the league in terms of attempted shots on goal this season, bruv. And he's coming up against Calafiori. And Calafiori, as much as I love him, he's going to give you a chance defensively. He's going to give you a chance, bruv. So I'm thinking, can Semenyo get a shot against Arsenal in each half, bruv? Or is a safer bet to go for 2 Arsenal players? I think the safer bet is to go for 2 Arsenal players, personally, bruv.
Generally, I always go for Saka with his shots, and he's been letting me down recently.
He has been letting you down. It hasn't been.
He has.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be for me. I'm gonna go for Trossard and Havertz personally, because Saka's always gonna be doubled up.
I'll go for if he starts. Again, this is the thing about lineups.
Yeah. And I think Trossard will start. So I'm going with Trossard and Havertz. I'll say. I think Semenyo, I'll leave him for now. Then on Sunday, I'm going for the Man City game. Now, the sensible thing to do would be to go for 2 Man City players, but like maybe Gundogan and Foden, etc. But I've seen it. I woke up. I said my boy Cunha is getting a shot in each half, but so I'm sticking with it. The odds say it. The odds obviously good, 15-8. So I'm taking it. I'm going Cunha shot in each half, and I'm going Foden shot in each half. And then last game that I'm going for is going to be a Liverpool game where I'm going to go for Salah and Diaz, a shot in each half. And I'm probably going to go with...
always on my slip. And I usually got a shot on target each half for Salah. Tends to come in.
I'm going Salah and Diaz a shot in each half, and I'm going Cole Palmer a shot in each half. So that's rough. I don't know what the odds are. I think it's 2.74 to 1 or something like that. So that's what I'm roughly looking at right now. There may be a different iteration, but just know that I'm doing shots in each half in it. That's what I see this week, and that's me.
Okay, I'm going to do something similar. So I mentioned it maybe a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing a treble of a shot on target in each half and a foul in each half. So, but I will wait till the lineups come out before I choose those. So, some of the suggestions that you had, definitely take those into consideration. Some good ideas, some good shouts there. And obviously, in addition to my normal handicap, so I've been mixing it up with some match results / handicap, and both teams are scoring over 2.5. So I've gone for like some of those. I think I did one slip so far. Let me even find the slip that I did. So I've gone for I've actually got a 12 fold, which is a long shot, of course. So I'll start with the match results first. So I've gone for Malmo to beat Vasteras. Yep. I've gone for Bolton -1 against at home against Burton. I've gone for Molde -1 at home against Sandefjord. I've gone for Wigan +1 away at Cambridge. So basically lose or win or draw effectively. I've gone for Motherwell at home against Dundee. I've gone for Omonia Nicosia -1.
He's gone Greece.
I've gone for
Cyprus.
I've gone for them. Basically, to win -1 again at home against, I'll just say their short name, Enosis. And I've gone for in Slovenia, I've gone for Olimpia Ljubljana to win away at NAFTA. And basically, I've mixed that with Suditro versus Pizza. I said pizza. But both teams to score over 2.5. Freiburg and Augsburg, both teams to score over 2.5. Leverkusen and Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, both teams to score over 2.5. Newcastle and Brighton, both teams to score over 2.5. So that is a long slip, 12-fold, 902 to 1, basically. So if I get anywhere close, I'll take the money and run. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I was clearing out some memory on my phone this week, and I was just coming across so many old pictures, screenshots of slips, and I just, I like to look at things that work, have worked in the past. So I think I'm going to try and go back to, what do you call it? I'm going to go back to do a 2+, got 2+ goals.
Yeah, not bad stuff, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I'm going to look around and see if I can put a 2+ slip together. In fact, I say that I did one last night as well, and that one for last night's games, I think I got like 8 out of 10 or something, or like.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, which one's missed out?
There wasn't bare games last night, though, no? You go low. I didn't see the games that you went for, bro.
Sometimes that's why I like it as well. Like, so the games that the ones that lost out was surprising as well, and they got like 1 goal. So I had Shakhtar 2+, for example, and Shakhtar won 1-0, which is not like the most common. Then I had Bari to score 2 goals basically, and they scored, it was 1-1. And they scored their 1 in the 30th minute, like, do you know what I mean? And just not, second goal didn't come. And then Anderlecht, who were like overwhelming favourites to beat Beerschot, lost 2-1 against Beerschot. Other than that, they all came in. Chesterfield, I had the 2+, Linfield 2+, Dortmund 2+, Dordrecht 2+, Helmond Sport 2+, Dunkirk landed that 2+ at a 9-4. That was Al Nassr 2+, that landed thanks to Cristiano in the 97th minute, and Karabag 2+. They all came in, and it was just those 3. And
go back to it, boy. Might as well, boy. Because the thing is, what you start realizing is obviously sometimes because we're focusing on these different ones, yeah, and different weeks, some of the old trends, bruv, they're actually staring in the face, but you're just missing it, bruv. Like he's not looking for it anymore, bruv.
Yeah,
you're not looking for it anymore, bro. So yeah, sometimes you got to switch it up, man. Bring in some of the mixing some of the old and the new, bro, man.
Yeah,
so
bring some of the old school guys back, bro.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put it myself, bro. I'm going 365, bro, and see what they got for me. Because I've been seeing a lot of goals recently, like, but that hasn't been my focus. I've been thinking about
in mind, bro. That's it, bro.
like, it's just
bring some of the old school guys back.
Just the buses are going past, bro. Like you're missing them again and again, bro. So I hear it, bro.
Definitely.
I hear it.
No, I hear that. But yeah, well, you know, I guess Godspeed, and let's see what happens. And hopefully we get some money this weekend. You know, but win, lose or draw, guys. Gamble aware. Keep it safe, and we'll be back again next week.
So later, people.
Oh, I was supposed to have done a little outro, but anyway, I pressed that already. Oh shit.